I know him from Grease.
Grease.
I think if you're a fan of cinema, if you're a fan of film, Uma does different types of film, and John Travolta definitely before this film, he was doing different types of films.
Yes,
but I definitely feel like they were very, very solid film actors. I definitely think that the people that have been watching them, even beyond Saturday, what is it?
Fever. Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Great movie.
It was a great movie. I think even, going to Greece, and he's done some phenomenal performances, and Uma's given some phenomenal performances in a ton of movies. She's still acting in a ton of movies currently, typically in dramas and things of that nature. And she's an incredible performer. So I think it depends on the kinds of film that you like.
Okay.
Or the kinds of films that you're used to watching. They're the type of films that you would see Uma and John Travolta in are going to be a little bit different from some of the films that you'd see Sam working in. And I think that's where the difference is, the audience, right? But they all have their individual audiences. I think they're all superstars, and that's, essentially why they're still working today. But I mean, I think Samuel L. Jackson was a really iconic character in the film, just because Jules is
he was
equally menacing and comical, and his responses are hilarious, and his look is something that's just, who could forget it, right? I mean, John Travolta has the sideburns, who's got the bang and the bob, but his afro, wig, and it's an iconic character that you will never forget. And I think that's why he stands out in this film. And we remember that character specifically, Samuel L. Jackson is just Sam. We remember that. And I think that was really powerful about this film. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the rating. Scale from 1 to 10. Seven being good, 8 being great, 9 being excellent, and a 10 being perfect, no flaws. What would you rate it?
I gotta give Pulp Fiction a 10, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was perfectly executed.
Okay.
Could it have been done in other ways? Yes. But I think it was perfectly executed because it's a film that's sort of one of its kind. And Tarantino's great at making films like that. So.
Yeah. It seems like all his films are a one shot.
I mean, who else is going to make a film like that, right? With those nuances, right?
I agree.
That for me is what makes it a 10. It's something, you watch Pulp Fiction, you see things in that film that you're never typically going to see. You see performers being put together in a genre of film that you probably would, come on,
they
Uma,
would never be together
Sam
again.
And Travolta and Bruce Willis. Where would you see a combination of these actors? Ving Rhames? Where would you see a combination of these actors in a film?
Only in Tarantino.
Only in a Tarantino movie.
Only.
So I think it deserves a 10 because of its creativity. It's kind of space between drama and comedy. It's got great performers in it.
Oh, yeah.
Arquette is, it's got everything you could think of, I think, in a film. And so that's why I think it earns a 10 in my book. And I've probably watched the film, I want to say 50, 60 times. Ooh. And here's the thing about it. I still spot things in the movie, still to this day. So for example, there's a scene when they're doing the adrenaline shot. Okay. And if you pay attention, I don't know if you caught this. A lot of people didn't catch this. There's the game of life and the game of operations in the back of the scene when they're going across looking for the adrenaline shot. So when he's running around and he's like, where's my medical book? Where's my medical bag? In the back of the scene on the table, there's literally the game of life and the game of operations right there in the scene, right? That a lot of people don't pay attention to. He does little things like that in his film. He has that in a lot of his films, even with anime and incorporating different things. And I feel like he's such a creative filmmaker.
Yeah.
And there's so many nuances in his films that you just don't see in other films. So yeah.
He's dope. He's dope.
It's my top
I would definitely also give it a 10 because like I said, what it meant to me at the time, at the time I was 22. Yeah, 22, 21, 22. And it just opened my eyes to how creative you could be making films. I just never knew it didn't have to be in a box. You can just go outside of that box and create it the way you see it.
Yeah.
He showed me a little splash of that in Reservoir Dogs, but in Pulp Fiction, I really saw you can kind of do what you want to do when you make your own film. You can. It's your world, it's your universe you're creating. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely give it a 10 also. So the name of the show is the main ingredient.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what is the one main ingredient of the movie that made you give it a 10? And that one thing could be anything about the movie.
I would say the storytelling.
Okay. You mean screenplay wise?
In a sense of like not even just the character archetypes, because like you said, we didn't get revelations on all the characters,
Right.
but I think it's the way that the story is tied together. It's almost like a film with like 4 different moving parts combined together. And it's interesting how the story completely ties together and intersects the characters, but it's not like one universal plot. Like, you know, how in some films, like there's the theme of the movie.
Yes.
You'll go and you'll read like the synopsis and it's like one theme and you understand what that theme is and everybody's working to serve that theme. In Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, every character has a dilemma. Every character is like faced with its own kind of space, from Marcellus Wallace to Jules to Vincent to Uma. It's just an interesting mirror of like expressing the point of view from in using each of your characters to do that.
Right.
And I don't know that there is a central plot or theme if you truly think about it. Yeah, they go to get the suitcase and they go to bring it back.
Suitcase is supposed to be the central
thing. What is what is essentially the central theme plot, right? I don't know that he just directly puts a finger on that and says what that is. And I love that the storyline ties together with him still doing that. So I think the storyline, the overall storyline, and how artistic it was is what the main ingredient of it was.
Okay.
What about you?
me personally, I love the writing in it. I think that he does a great job with the writing, even with, the little controversy you call with saying the N words and stuff like that. I don't think it's excessive, especially in this movie. I don't think it's excessive. I think it's used by those characters who would, like we said before, who would naturally be saying that.
Would be saying, yeah.
So I don't think he went overboard. I think as a Black director, I didn't see no big deal with it. But I think it was very well written. I think he wasted no words on the page. Like everything needed to be said how it was said by the characters it was said by. And the casting was just great. Like he casted it perfectly. Like I don't know what else to say about. I couldn't see any other actors playing these roles but the ones he got to play them. So I think he just did an incredible job all around with the movie. But I would say the screenplay.
Yeah.
Ingredient for me. I love the screenplay. I love the screen. The written word is just dope. I just like it. I'm really into that anyway. So I would say that Quentin hasn't done a movie in a couple of years, right?
It's been a while. Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's hung it up or do you think he's marinating on something else? Because it's been a long time.